out victims of human trafficking. We went so far as to not only do this prostitution operation, but we had a special area with counselors so we could bring potential victims away from the actual operation, and certainly juveniles away from the actual operation, in order that we could try to rescue them. Our detectives, both with the Sheriff's Office and the Police Department, did a marvelous job. We arrested 95 people in just a 5-day operation. And when we talk about a 5-day operation, it wasn't 24 hours a day. It was just a small fraction of the day. We filed 21 felony charges and 111 misdemeanor charges. 28 of the people that were arrested were from Polk County. There were 50 prostitutes that were arrested, 33 Johns that were arrested, 12 drivers. Also, some of those drivers were pimps. Some of those 12 also happened to be in the car with felony possession or misdemeanor possession of drugs. Of the people that were there, 17 of them admitted that they were married, and they weren't married to the people that they came with or that they came to see. The youngest arrest was 15. 3 juveniles were taken into custody, and that is 3 of the total of several others that we screened to be a victim of human trafficking. The oldest prostitute was 60. They said she looked like she was going on 85. The oldest John we arrested was 68 years of age, and we'll talk more about him in a minute. You won't want to miss this. 25 of them were on government assistance. Now, folks, I have to pause here. Sometimes the news media uses this, sometimes they don't, but you should all the time. Think about this for a second. 25 of the people that showed up were being paid money from your hard-earned taxes that you pay into the federal government. So they were being paid money to show up and prostitute themselves and or use part of that money or money that they would normally have to use for groceries. They didn't have to use for groceries because they used your government money while they used their money for prostitutes. And that fires me up. When we all work really hard every day and don't mind paying our taxes, and certainly we don't mind our tax money going for the very old, the very young, those that are challenged, those that are in real need. But when we work hard to pay taxes, and then these rascals get this public assistance, this government money for free, and then hang out and prostitute themselves, drives me nuts. We see in this operation that there is a potential of 3 victims of human trafficking, and those are still under investigation. And quite frankly, if we'd done this entire operation for this period of time and we only rescue one person, we only made one person's life better as a result of this operation, it would have been well worth it. Now, here's the interesting part. Of the 95 people we arrested in Polk County, our detectives told us that we could have doubled that number had we not been in Lakeland. They would tell the detectives, not going there. It's not happening. We know what happens when you come to Polk County. And we'll show you this, and you can see this afterwards, but it's thanks for the call. Lakeland, Polk County is notorious for stings, which is why I hope you understand me clarifying that I will not provide any illegal services. The chief and I are very proud of that. Absolutely. That they want to stay away from Lakeland and Polk County. And we'll let you all see that later on. But at the end of the day, it's important to understand that, yes, we made 95 arrests, but think of all the criminal suspects that wouldn't come to the county, that wouldn't come to Lakeland because of the work we did together. Okay, so here's my favorite part. when we start with the cards. How about Kimberly Fent? She brought her 2-year-old baby to the operation. How's that for a mother maybe trying to earn a little extra money? The baby stayed in the car with the father while she was turning tricks, or thought she was going to turn tricks inside. She qualifies once again as at least Mother of the Month, and she may be eligible for Mother of the Year. And then there's Mia Morris. Mia Morris told us she was Russian and she had this beautiful accent. Turns out she is a real estate agent and or a paralegal for a large real estate firm in New York. She just does this on the side, she says. However, we determined that she also had a cell phone out of Los Angeles and a cell phone out of Miami, and she's from New York. She was a professional prostitute. Not only that, she's really tough to deal with. She started out at a mere $500. And by the time it was over with, she said, "Oh, I've got to have at least $1,200. We said, "Well, that's stretching our budget, but okay, we'll pay you $1,200. And she showed up, and we gave her a New York welcome to Polk County, Florida. And then there's Amos Harper. Amos Harper's on a partial scholarship to Southeastern University to play football. He was very professional with us. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. However, I think that Amos has learned a very valuable lesson, that you don't come to Lakeland looking for prostitutes. Now here's Alan Hicks. He was the one that was actually watching the baby in the car. He was also arrested for deriving proceeds whenever he drove his girlfriend / significant other. So he is interesting. All right, you know, there's the saying that's not new, but it's true: you can't fix stupid. Maurice Laws is stupid. Last year, we arrested him for the same thing at the same undercover location. So he meets with the undercover and says, "Hey, y'all know I was arrested here at this very place for prostitution last year." Well, here's your sign, as the Lakeland police officers busted in the door on him and took him into custody. Congratulations. Merry Christmas. And then there's Timothy Purcell. Timothy Purcell teaches at George Jenkins High School. He's an algebra teacher. I wonder how that math worked out for him. See if he can figure out what his bond is, since he's so good with numbers. He made the statement that, now this dude's married, okay, you got that? That he looks at these ads online every day and then engages the services of a prostitute about once a month. What's your wife think about that, buddy? Can you believe it? He's married. That would be an interesting one. Are you ready? This is our poster child. Because he's a poster child, he actually gets an even larger flashcard than normal. This is David Marsh. He rode a bike clear across Lakeland wearing his French maid outfit with his dog collar around his neck, with other attachments to his body to include a leash. This guy works at Home Depot. They tell me in the plumbing department. I go, "Come on, man, you got to be kidding me." I don't think he learned this at the plumbing department at Home Depot. But the reality is, this guy had a real significant issue. And he liked this dominant theme. Well, you know, one of the most dangerous times of an arrest is when we take them into custody, because it's quite a shock to them. So that's when they might fight or might run or might create a problem. So being that this was a dominant, submissive thing, our detective, which was just absolutely brilliant, said, okay, I'll be back in a second. Get on your hands and knees. And he did. So we already had him down so that he couldn't run, had less opportunity to fight. And you notice we gave him a new set of bracelets or handcuffs, something that he didn't think to bring with him, along with all the weird stuff that was in his special bag. This was David Marsh. If we can get a better picture of that, you certainly should have it. Now, of all of these arrests we made, it's important to know that these aren't some innocent people wanting to engage in consensual sex, and it's just a business affair. They had a total of 205 previous felony charges and 399 previous misdemeanor charges. I'm going to turn the podium over to our Chief of Police in Lakeland, who is going to give you some more details about the operation, and then we will accept any questions that you may have. Chief?
Thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate it. Good afternoon. Today's announcement of the arrest represents all the hard work and unrivaled cooperation between our agencies to help keep the citizens of this county safe. This 5-day operation has been a collaborative effort between the Lakeland Police Department and the Polk County Sheriff's Office and the State Attorney's Office. We hope this sends a strong message to prospective Johns that sex trafficking simply is not a victimless crime. Let's talk about that for a second. It's not a victimless crime when one of the prostitutes reveals to us through questioning that she has an active case of hepatitis, that she's infected with hepatitis, and she's not letting any of her potential customers know that. That's not victimless. More so than it's showing that it's not a victimless crime is through investigations and through interviews, the prostitutes revealed to us that came and were turning the tricks that more than half of their proceeds are lost to their pimps, whether they're posing as protection, whether they're posing as the escort service to drive them to and from Polk County to participate in these illegal endeavors. It's certainly not victimless. Therefore, the Lakeland Police Department and the Polk County Sheriff's Department is dedicated to ensuring that the women and girls who have been brutalized and exploited have their freedoms restored. Rest assured, the law enforcement agencies of this county and the State Attorney's Office will be relentless in fighting all aspects of human trafficking. Thank you, and we'll take any questions.
Can you expand on the victims of human trafficking? You said you found 3.
There are 3 potential victims of human trafficking, and we'll be working with them. What we historically see when we deal with victims of human trafficking, they don't walk through the door and we identify ourselves as law enforcement and they said, oh my God, I'm glad you're here. I'm a victim of human trafficking. What we find is usually a very scared young lady who has been wrapped up psychologically, emotionally, and sometimes physically through the use of drugs. They're afraid of us. They're more afraid of us than they are their pimp and the human trafficker. And we have to peel through those layers of pain and hurt in order to get to the victim that we know they are. So this is an ongoing process. We've identified 3 as potential victims of human trafficking. We and specialized counselors that work with us will continue to work with these young ladies in an effort to try to break them out of this mold that they're in and to work with them and to save them from these pimps that they're working for. This is a tough job to help them. Sometimes the most difficult part of these operations is simply helping these victims. Some recognize they're victims and still don't want help, Others don't recognize their victims, but it's a long, laborious process.
Out of all these arrests, is there a particular leader overall?
No, there's not one leader in this entire operation. In fact, what we find is once you grab one or two professional prostitutes out of a pimp's harem, we don't get any more of them because he calls them all off. He says, hey, they're on them again. So you grab one or two, and these professional pimps won't be back. They network.
Sheriff, what is, when you get caught in a prostitution sting, is it a day in jail, you pay a fine, you move on? What is
It depends. If you're convicted of 3 or more events, it's a felony. Otherwise, it can be just a fine or just jail time. And what we look for are those that are human trafficking. Our sole focus, if a guy has come here to engage in the services of a prostitute, he's going to be fine. He's going to pay for his indiscretion. And certainly we hope he doesn't come back to Polk County at all. And that's been our experience. They don't come back. It doesn't mean they stop, but they don't come back. But what the state attorney's office does, along with our agencies, is we work together to, 1, identify the victims, and 2, to identify the professionals that are showing up, as the chief said, with hepatitis, to have sex without protection. And they don't care whether you get hepatitis or HIV or AIDS or any of the other communicable diseases. As long as you pay them cash money, that's your life and your problem. So what we try to do is multifaceted, as the chief said. We want everybody to know this is not a victimless crime. These 25 people that were married had a significant other at home while they were out spending the rent money, the food money, and the potential of not only causing themselves to end up with a very significant disease, but also their significant other that's home thinking they're out working or at the bowling alley with their buddies. Turns out they were at the county jail with our buddies.
Did you guys confiscate any drugs or any money aside from the other?
We got drugs and money. We didn't get a lot of drugs. We got some money, but this is not a operation where our focus is on large amounts of drugs or large amounts of money. But yes, we recovered some. And as we do, we'll file for forfeiture on any proceeds. There may be some vehicles that we take along the way, depending on the fact that they use this in order to further a felony. And those proceeds, once the forfeitures occur, will be split between the Lakeland Police Department and the Sheriff's Office.
What about the, and you might have said this, the parents with the 2-year-olds? Is Child Protective Services involved at this point?
Absolutely. Child Protective Services is always notified. In fact, someone from Child Protective Services was actually on site when this occurred.
Is it frustrating for you to see people like Mr. Laws who are repeat offenders, and you wish to speak with legislatures about making this a little bit?
Well, it's pretty tough now once you've been a time or two and haven't learned your lesson. I think the charges are significant. You get a due fine and or possible county jail time initially, and the charges ramp up if you continue in that manner with that conduct.
But everyone here went to jail initially, or do some people come and you show them a fine and they move on their way?
No, they all go to jail. I call it the therapeutic ride. It works wonders. If it doesn't for them, it does for us. So one of the two of us had some therapy out of it.
Sheriff, you've done these press conferences for a number of years, and you're a part of the Florida Sheriff's Association, obviously. Are you seeing improvement along the I-4 corridor in general? Can you speak to that at all?
Thank you very much. Because of operations such as Chief Giddens and the police department did with us at the Sheriff's Office, we're seeing huge improvements. We saw at least 50% of the people that would have normally showed up for this kind of conduct refuse to come to Lakeland. Nope, we know about the stings. We know what's going to happen. one lady, and there's a clip we were going to show you, and we can show you for your entertainment value, but you can't use it. She talked about that Judge Grady. And he's beep, 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 but she showed up anyway. So we just had to give her another dose of reality. Now here's the sign, okay? If you see a road sign that says you're entering Polk County and you think you're going to come here to commit crime, no, you're not going to commit crime and get away with it. Because we're going to arrest you, or the Lakeland Police Department's going to arrest you, or some of our colleagues with another police department's going to arrest you, and we're going to enjoy it. And we're going to put you in jail, and it's Christmas time. So maybe we can get some of the detention deputies to hum jingle bells to you on Christmas morning, because you're going to be in jail eating pressed turkey if you come here to commit crime. So if you want to commit crime, just go someplace else. Or get ready to hear us hum jingle bells, probably off tune, on Christmas morning. Anything else? Thank you very much. Videos.
So there's not like a list of certain favorites? Because I'm gonna step in the bathroom and come out and roll, so I need to know, but I wanna be good. You're obviously paying me, so. Is there a certain name you like? Is there? Susan? Okay. And you like to be nominated? Okay. This is what you want. Okay.
Matt, is that us from recording it or from us playing it now?
I don't know either.
Well, safe word, I guess it could just be,
Enough? You like lights on, lights off, you like music?
I like music and not too much like.
I'm not sure how loud you can use stuff. I've heard people next door, but I'm not sure. Did see some military guys come in. Alright, so you like Susan and you want to be dominant. To get you off. There's nothing I can do that's gonna offend you, there's nothing, I'm not gonna get arrested or anything, right?
No,
Do you like marks?
marks are okay, as long as they don't drop a lot.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me get into character. I want you down here on the floor, and I'm gonna have you be right back.
You can put a price on that. And then he's arrested.
You get here okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Good. So, oh, I know it's like, I've already complained about the air, hopefully it'll warm up a little bit. So you saw my, well, what did we agree to, $40? Okay. And I usually, if you don't mind, I usually like to upfront.
Okay, yeah.
And, I won't get jerked around.
No, trust me, I
Oh,
understand.
that's real nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you just wanted, this, real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna freshen up and
Okay.
get all situated for you, and then we'll get going. How's that?
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
All right.
Whoops. Those two. All right, folks, thank you very much. We'll leave all these up here for you.
Does anyone want to shoot that person off screen again, or?
Hey, thank you very much. Take care, brother.
I'll see you tonight.
What's that? File is better. It's MPEG 4.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
This is
You want to shoot
conditional.
it off screen?
We're here, whatever you
Since
need.
this is one of our first ones, we'll get a nice picture of all of us.
Give me a thumb drive.
Just let me know what you need.
I will bring one back to you.
Hey, bro.
Get a lake house one of these days.